So, is Utah the perfect place to live? Honestly, no place is perfect, but after living here, working here, and raising a family here, and helping dozens of people relocate to the Salt Lake City area, I can tell you that Utah comes pretty dang close. And I'm not just saying that because I live here. I've worked with people from all over the country, California, Texas, New York, Florida, and I hear the same thing over and over again from people loving the fact that they relocated to Utah. So whether you're thinking about moving to Utah or just curious what it's really like to live here, let me break down 25 of my personal favorite reasons why Utah is unbeatable. Let's start with the fact that the mountains change everything. Let's start with the obvious. When you live here along the Wasatch Front, you are in the mountains. You don't have to go to them. They're part of really your everyday life. I had a client from Atlanta who told me they used to plan a 2 or 3 hour weekend trip to the Smoky Mountains each year. And here, they're literally hiking after work, walking the dog up Mill Creek Canyon before dinner, sunrise photos on a Tuesday. The mountains shift your rhythm. They slow you down, but honestly in the best way. All right, second has to be the fact that we have 4 real seasons that actually make sense. Utah gives you all 4 seasons really without the extremes. Springs bring cherry blossoms at the Capitol. Fall turns the canyons into fiery reds and golds. Summer is dry, not sticky and humid. In the winter, yes, it snows, but roads are cleared pretty fast here, and it's honestly beautiful. You'll go from kayaking in June to skiing in January without blinking. Outdoor adventure is built into your everyday lifestyle. You're never too far from nature, never. In fact, it's one of the most common positives I hear from people who relocate to Salt Lake City. There are 20 plus trailheads within 20 minutes of Salt Lake City. Paddleboarding at Tibble Fork, rock climbing in Little Cottonwood Canyon, fly fishing in the Provo River, snowshoeing in Heber City. One client actually told me that they traded a 2-hour commute in Los Angeles for a 10-minute drive to the trailheads. And now they've got a mountain bike and a hammock in the back of their car at all times. That's just normal life here that's hard to find anywhere else. You can't mention Salt Lake City without talking about the booming job market. Utah consistently ranks as one of the strongest economies in the country. In fact, the US News and World Report named Utah the #1 economy in the nation, thanks to our job growth, low unemployment, and strong business environment. We've got major headquarters here, places like Adobe, Intermountain Healthcare, Zions Bank, Overstock, and more. And there's more businesses moving here every year. Now, the Lehigh-Draper corridor, also known as the Silicon Slopes, is packed with tech companies and fast-growing startups. Salt Lake itself is a hub for finance, healthcare, education, logistics, with everything from big corporations to small business success stories. And if you work remotely, this is a great place to be. You'll find fast, reliable internet, modern co-working spaces, and quiet neighborhoods with mountain views from downtown Salt Lake to cities like Spanish Fork, Farmington, and Pleasant Grove. Now, Utah is not cheap anymore, but compared to most metros, it's still a deal. For the price of a starter home in most large cities, you could get a brand new 4-bedroom home in Eagle Mountain with a backyard and views in the mountains. Utah is ranked as the 8th lowest state for property taxes. Plus, you can count on lower utility bills. Now, if you're relocating from a coastal city, you'll feel that difference right away. The airport is a total game changer. It's clean, fast, efficient, and expanding rapidly. In fact, the west side of downtown Salt Lake City is undergoing major improvements as we speak. There are nonstop flights to over 100 different cities: London, Paris, New York. Delta has a hub here in Salt Lake City, so there are more destination options than most airports. Now, if you travel a lot for work or you just love to get out of town, you'll appreciate a world-class airport just 15 minutes from downtown. What a lot of people also love about this area is that the suburbs have real personality. Daybreak, Highland, Mapleton, Kaysville. These aren't boring little suburbs. They've got charm, character, and serious community spirit. You'll find food trucks on Friday nights, free concerts in the park, holiday parades where everyone shows up. I had a family move to Lehigh recently from New Jersey. They told me their kids made more friends in 2 weeks here than 2 years back home. And that's the kind of community atmosphere you can expect here. In fact, Utah ranks as the youngest state by average age. Now, there's no question that the skiing here is world class and local. Within 45 minutes of Salt Lake, you've got 8 different resorts: Alta, Snowbird, Brighton, solitude, and Park City. This is the greatest snow on earth and a main reason why the Winter Olympics are coming back here in 2030. But what's wild is how accessible these ski resorts are. You don't need to drive for hours at a time to make it to the ski resorts. Season passes like Icon and Epic make it more affordable, night skiing is super common, and families make it part of their routine. Even if you don't like skiing, just riding the gondola for the views in Snow Basin in October is worth it. People also love that Utah's community culture is real. People here are just more helpful. Neighbors shovel each other's driveways, look out for one another. Kind of feels like every couple of months, my neighborhood in Sandy is hosting some kind of neighborhood event. There's a friendliness that doesn't feel forced. It just feels genuine. And it's actually a relief to have neighbors who care about one another. You'll feel it whether you're in a tight-knit suburb or a walkable Salt Lake neighborhood like Sugar House or 9th and 9th. Now, what's really cool is that outdoor space is the norm, not the luxury. Big yards, wide sidewalks, community parks everywhere. Now, the newer homes in particular tend to be built on larger lots. And with Utah's incredible access to the outdoors, thanks to its national parks, its state parks, and vast stretches of BLM land, you've got endless options for things like hiking, camping, off-roading, and exploring lakes, the Red Rock Canyons, and everything in between. Now, the food in Salt Lake City is way better than you'd expect. Utah's food scene has blown up, I'd say, within the last 5 years. When I lived in rural North Carolina, I remember having to drive an hour just to get to a high quality restaurant. Now, I've lived in a lot of different places, and some of my all-time favorite restaurants are right here in Salt Lake City. Some of my personal favorites are Takashi if you love sushi downtown, Sunday's Best for brunch in Sandy, and Smoked Taco, which I recently discovered in American Fork. Plus, there's amazing local bakeries, coffee shops, farmers markets, and an exploding food truck scene in cities like Provo, Ogden, and West Jordan. Now, Salt Lake City is actually pretty cool. Now, Salt Lake City has quietly become a more hip, creative, fast-growing city. Not something you're used to hearing. Most people assume it's just 99% religious people who don't drink alcohol. Well, that's not really the case anymore. Yes, Utah tends to be more conservative culturally, but the entertainment scene has grown a lot lately. Live music in Kilby Court, rooftop bars downtown, public art murals in the Granary District, craft breweries, and speakeasies. Utah's cultural calendar is packed, whether it's concerts at Red Butte Garden, performances at the Eccles Theater, or the Utah Arts Festival downtown. There's always something happening if you're looking for more than just outdoor adventures. It's a city that surprises people, and one that's getting better by the year. Now, if you're like me and you have kids, there are a ton of parks, playgrounds, and splash pads to choose from. Utah's younger population means plenty of options for entertaining your family, plus highly rated school districts like the Canyon School District. Some of the other top entertainment spots are places like Thanksgiving Point, the Treehouse Museum in Ogden, mountain towns like Midway with ice castles in the winter. Every city has beautiful parks, well-kept playgrounds, splash pads, and family festivals all year round. Now, whether you have kids already or you're planning to raise a family, Utah is easily the most family-friendly state in the US. All right, let's talk about something really important, which is schools. Utah has some of the top-rated schools and rising test scores. Speaking of which, if you're moving with kids, Utah's education system offers some serious perks. Districts like Alpine, Davis, and Canyons regularly rank among the best in the state for academic performance and student growth. You'll find tons of local high schools with robust AP programs, competitive sports, and nationally recognized performing art departments. Now, for families seeking alternatives, Utah has a growing number of charter and magnet schools, including American Heritage, Summit Academy, and more. There's also some STEM-focused schools and dual language immersion programs across the Wasatch Front. And if you're looking for internationally recognized curriculum, schools like West High in Salt Lake City offer the full International Baccalaureate Diploma program. Now, when it comes to higher education, Utah's universities are top ranked. The University of Utah is a Tier 1 research university and a major hub for healthcare, engineering, and tech. BYU is known nationally for accounting, business, and language programs, and Utah Valley University, known as UVU, continues to expand with a strong focus on workforce development. And all three schools have high job placement rates for graduates, especially in the booming local industries like tech, healthcare, and finance. Now, people take pride in their communities here. Cities feel clean, maintained, and cared for. Neighborhood watch programs, local improvement committees, street fairs, and cleanup days. Now, one of my personal favorites is the bulk waste pickup offered twice a year in Sandy and allows people to declutter their homes and yards at no cost. Speaking of cleanup, the clean air campaigns are making a difference. Yes, the winter inversion is real, but Utah has taken some major steps in recent years to combat air pollution, especially along the Wasatch Front. You'll see electric school buses, cleaner construction practices, state-sponsored EV rebates, and a growing network of public EV charging stations. The Utah Transit Authority continues to expand electric TRAX lines and hybrid buses to reduce emissions. And here's the thing, inversion is a seasonal challenge, mostly in January and February. For the other 9 to 10 months of the year, the skies are wide open, the Wasatch looks like a postcard, and outdoor air quality is some of the best in the country. Now, the tech and startups here are thriving. The Silicon Slopes nickname isn't just branding, it's becoming a national tech hotspot. There's also a dense concentration of startups, venture capital-backed companies, incubators, and co-working spaces throughout Lehigh, Draper, Sandy, and even stretching into Salt Lake City and Provo. Now, if you work in the fields of software, AI, biotech, fintech, or digital marketing, there are real opportunities here. And because of the lower cost of living compared to the Bay Area, a lot of remote tech workers have relocated here while keeping their big city salaries. Utah is also quickly becoming known as a great place to retire. Utah is not just for young professionals and outdoor junkies, it's quietly becoming a retirement destination. St. George, Ivins, and Heber City are booming with 55 plus communities, golf courses, and scenic walking trails. Now, the winters in southern Utah are pretty mild, and you're never too far from a national park, a reservoir, or panoramic canyon drives. Now, combine that with world-class healthcare access in cities like Salt Lake City and Provo, you've got a pretty good, compelling retirement plan here. Now, for a western state, Utah's public transit is surprisingly good. Now, the TRAX light rail system runs through Salt Lake County, connecting downtown to the airport, suburbs, and the University of Utah. The Frontrunner commuter train stretches from Ogden all the way to Provo with fast expansion plans underway. Now, UTA buses run consistently, and during ski season, there are actually dedicated ski buses that run routes straight to Alta, Snowbird, Brighton, and Solitude. Now, if you're trying to cut your commute or just avoid winter driving, it's a legit option here. Now, something you should know about Utahns, they're not just active, they're really active. It's not just a stereotype. People here genuinely love being outside. You'll see joggers on snow-covered trails, CrossFit groups doing hill sprints in the canyons, seniors power walking around Liberty Park, and kids doing backflips at the local skate park. The infrastructure supports it too. The bike lanes, the trail systems, the public rec centers, and city-funded wellness events make it easy to live an active lifestyle. Now, a healthy lifestyle here isn't just a trend, it's woven into the way people live. Now, Utah might not be known for lakes, but the lakes here are low-key amazing. Now, even though Utah is landlocked, the lake scene is alive and well. Bear Lake, which is on the border with Idaho, feels like a mini Caribbean getaway with its turquoise water and beach towns. Pine View Reservoir is surrounded by mountain views and perfect for paddleboarding, and Jordanelle, which is just 15 minutes from Park City, has full-service marinas, picnic spots, and water sports rentals. Utah Lake offers easy access for boating, wake surfing, and fishing. Now, it's not ocean life, but for a summer day with a cooler, a kayak, and a few friends, it's pretty hard to beat. Now, one thing a lot of people like are the cultural festivals here really show off the state's diversity. Utah is definitely more diverse than people give it credit for, and the festivals prove that. The Greek Festival in downtown Salt Lake draws thousands, the Lunar New Year celebrations light up the city, and the Krishna Holi Festival in Spanish Fork is one of the largest color festivals in the Western Hemisphere. Add in the Days of 47 Pioneer Day events, Oktoberfest, and Pacific Islander heritage events, and you've got a state that celebrates cultures from around the globe in big inclusive ways. Now, the weather here is more livable than you think. Yes, Utah gets snow, especially in the mountains, but the winters are dry. That means no slush, no freezing rain, and you can shovel your driveway in a hoodie. Plus, with over 300 sunny days a year, you're not stuck under gray skies for months. Believe me, I know what that looks like growing up in Oregon. Spring and fall are basically perfect. You have warm days, cool nights, and zero humidity. Even the summers, while hot, cool off in the evenings thanks to the elevation. It's a 4-season state, and none of the seasons feel brutal. A trend that I've noticed in the last few years is that when people do move here, they tend to not leave. This isn't just anecdotal, it's a pattern. People move here for work, for school, for temporary escape from bigger cities, and they end up staying. Why? Because it's clean, it's safe, there's access to nature, life just feels a little easier here. I've met countless people who gave it a try and now they own a home here. Their kids are in the local schools and they couldn't imagine moving back. Utah tends to win people over quietly. And last, Utah lets you reset. There's something about living here that hits different, especially if you're coming from a place that's overcrowded. Utah gives you physical space, wide open trails, quiet neighborhoods, and room to build the kind of life you actually want. And more than that, it gives you mental space, the chance to slow down, think clearly, and focus on what matters. People come here burned out from big cities, fast jobs, or just too much noise. And within months, they're hiking before work, they're spending weekends at the lake, and they're reconnecting with their families. Utah doesn't just change your zip code, it changes your overall lifestyle. Now, if this is your first time here, I'm Scott Willey with the Salt Lake City Relocation Guide. We help people buy, sell, and relocate all across Utah's Wasatch Front, from Ogden all the way to Provo and everywhere in between. So if you're thinking about making a move or just need help figuring out where you fit, reach out. My contact info is in the description below. We'd love to help. So there's my top 25 reasons why people love living in Utah. Reach out to us. My contact info is below. We'd love to help you make that smooth move to Salt Lake City. We'll see you in the next video.